can be a Jeff Bezos, and you can make $155 billion, or you could be a Donald Trump, and you can lie and steal and cheat, and maybe someday you can be president of the United States. Well, I reject those values. I understand everybody wants to be a success. Being a success does not mean to say that you have to be worth $155 billion and at the same time treat your workers with disrespect.
And so effective November 1st, we are also establishing a new Amazon minimum wage of $15 an hour.
Amazon recently announced plans to increase the minimum wage for all their U.S. employees. And many are giving credit to Senator Bernie Sanders and progressive organizers who put political pressure on the company's CEO, Jeff Bezos. Hey, Senator. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Jake Horowitz. Good to see you again. So I sat down with Senator Sanders in D.C. to talk about what this moment means for workers across the country. So I want to start by asking you just how significant of a move it is for Amazon to raise its minimum wage for its employees.
I think it is a very big deal. It's a huge victory for hundreds of thousands of workers. The issue of non-living wages in this country is an issue we are going to stay fiercely on. That's why we introduced the $15 an hour minimum wage.
What led Amazon to raise wages for its 350,000 workers? The Fight for 15 movement was started by activists in 2012 and picked up steam in the 2016 election when Sanders made it a core campaign issue.
This election is about ending the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality in America today.
More recently, Sanders has been attacking Amazon directly for its low pay and poor working conditions.
Senator Bernie Sanders introduced a bill called the Stop Bezos Act.
And it was called the Stop Bad Employers by Zeroing Out Subsidies Act, or the Stop Bezos Act.
The act would require big companies like Amazon to pay the cost of public assistance for their workers. That was an act that was, I guess, widely criticized by even some progressive economists.
I wouldn't go widely, but it was criticized inside the Beltway. You know, people basically were not politically friendly to me, who said, oh, this isn't a well-thought-out program. It didn't do this and it didn't do that, without understanding for 1 second, this is what we call a message piece of legislation, to gain attention, to focus on the absurdity that the middle class has to subsidize the wealthiest person in this country. And actually, ironically enough, their criticism ended up generating some more attention to the issue, which I think worked to our benefit.
Do you worry at all that by going after CEOs like him directly, it sends maybe inadvertently a message about punishing success?
Look, you want to be a successful businessman, go for it. But you know what? Let me tell you, I do not believe that when we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any country on earth, when many of our seniors trying to get by on $12,000, $13,000 a year Social Security, you know what? I don't think you should be worth $155 billion.
I traveled to Amazon's D.C. office and talked to a spokesperson about the pressure they faced from Sanders and other organizers.
As a company, we sort of have a principle about listening to our critics. We were very comfortable with where we were based on the principles we had applied at Amazon since its inception, which was to be competitive. But competitive, we decided, was good, but we could do something better. We could actually lead in this space.
Some employees have come forward and said, this actually may be a net negative for some employees, given the bonus structure and how long they've been working at the company, that this could actually set them back.
We're going to work hard to make it clear to every employee that that is not the case. Okay. Everyone has a net benefit from this.
So one of the other things Bernie Sanders has been talking a lot about is the conditions for workers inside of factories. Is the company doing anything?
Well, here's where I would say that we don't agree with all of the criticism. The workplace conditions are something we're very proud of. Not every job is right for everyone.
Bezos is not the first CEO to raise wages in recent years. But now that he's taken this step, the question becomes, will others follow suit? Amazon has also pledged to advocate for a higher minimum wage in Congress.
It's been 9 years since the last time the minimum wage, the federal minimum wage, was raised. We will actively engage with members of Congress, staff, as well as other advocates on this issue.
And you mentioned that you spoke to Bernie Sanders yesterday, but do you plan to work with him, for
Absolutely.
example?
He noted in our conversation that he is a sponsor of a bill that would raise the minimum wage, and I explained to him our position that we don't want to say it's 15 or nothing. That this is a product of negotiation, and ultimately it's for Congress to decide.
Yeah.
But we will work with all stakeholders who believe that we should raise the minimum wage.
Whether or not this effort will succeed hinges on getting support from conservatives in Congress. But while many of them believe higher minimum wages are fine for big companies like Amazon, some worry federal laws can hurt small businesses.
The unintended consequence, or really the intended consequence from their perspective, is now they're offering a better wage. They are going to skim off some of the best workers in this industry and also put pressure on these other retailers to raise wages. Raising it immediately to $15 would not be very good for the small businesses that have to compete.
The jury is still out on what the overall impact of a higher minimum wage would be, but in the states that have implemented it, there have been positive signs. According to a study from the Center on Wage and Employment Dynamics, higher wages in Seattle haven't led to either job loss or a slowdown in the city's economy.
We work, we sweat, put 15 on our check.
And that's why thousands of workers across America continue to fight to raise the minimum wage. Earlier this year, we met up with a Fight for 15 organizer in Missouri.
Hey, ho, ho. These poverty wages got to go. Hey, hey.
Kenya Banks told us she's a shift manager at McDonald's, making just $10.50 an hour.
We want a voice on the job. We want health care. We want all benefits. We want to be able to take care of our families and ourselves. Have our own homes, have cars, be able to make ends meet.
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut it down!
We have groups like Fight for 15, and these guys have been real heroes and heroines. They've been out in the trenches, out on the streets for years now, demanding that every worker in America makes at least $15 an hour and has a union representation. And also, I want to give thanks to the many hundreds of Amazon workers with whom we worked. They told us their stories. They appeared on video, and they deserve a lot of credit for the success we had.
You feel vindicated in a way?
The short answer, absolutely.